Hey everybody, it's Aubrie from Drafted, and I'm here with Joe Chernov, who
Hi.
is the CMO of Robin.
Yes, I am.
Thank you for joining us for an episode of the Daily Draft.
Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. So a topic that comes up a lot that companies are talking about all the time right now is employer branding. So I want to ask you, do you think employer branding is something that should be on the responsibility of recruiting?
We're funny with our
Or
heads.
marketing? We're like, who do we talk to?
Who do I... Look, I think I'm the CMO, so I think my answer is kind of going to be obvious. I think it's marketing, but not only because I'm the CMO. I think it's marketing because, one, marketing has resources that recruiting isn't going to have. And so if anything needs to be produced or done, marketing can make that happen. That's not to say that recruiting shouldn't be a stakeholder in it. Recruiting should have a voice in it, but I think I'm prone to say if you have two quarterbacks, you have no quarterback. Like somebody's got to own it. I think it's marketing, both for the resources, and the other part is like sort of the unintended consequence of having a wayward brand, having a brand that's divergent from the corporate brand. So like, let's say your company, this is going to be a crazy extreme example, but let's say your company makes security software for governments.
Okay.
So it's like kind of a sober business. And the employer brand, the recruiting brand is like fun office, free beer. That's going to be really divergent from the more sober message that the company needs to convey. Now that's probably a laughably extreme example, but directionally I think that it conveys a message that it should be centralized with like the owner of the macro brand, which is marketing.
That makes a lot of sense.
All right.
Even if it's an extreme example.
All right, I've got a recruit here.
There we go. He's got a new role here. He's going to be head of recruiting. No, we won't put you there. So as a marketer, what is something that you've done in cold outreach, maybe that was very successful for you in marketing, that you wished you saw recruiters do more of?
I think like taking a minute to consider who you're communicating with. I get recruiting emails for jobs I had 15 years ago, like titles I had 15 years ago. They didn't like stop and reflect.
Yeah.
The other is like, but that's also a ridiculous example. That's not the norm, that's the exception, that's just a spammer, okay? But there's also a time when people they'll say like, your profile looks great for this role, but they don't say what in the profile. And so I don't take it like, I still feel like I'm being spammed. If they just stopped for a minute and said, the work you did here is relevant and here is why. The rest of the pitch can be boilerplate, but give me the first paragraph. At least give me two unique sentences to show you like stopped for a minute. And in marketing, like that's sort of what account-based marketing is all about, is like trying to get to that persona of one and try to make every communication as bespoke as possible.
Yeah, nobody wants to feel like they're being spammed. They want to feel that personal connection. And, you know, maybe something else as a marketer or as an employee that you've done at any of your companies, you know, where is a moment where you think that you've been able to really help your hiring team? You know, what was something that you did where you thought, okay, you know, I've helped them and I've added value to my company in the hiring process?
Yeah, a lot of the content we did at HubSpot was designed in parallel, like lead generation, brand awareness, but also recruiting. Like we would produce content that was like a year in review for the company. And a year in review had business metrics, but it also had a lot of cultural elements to it. And it was sort of a recap of what it was like to work here for the past year. And the ultimate audience for that was job seekers, passive job seekers, trying to shake a tree, right, and see what fell out. And so I think content marketing overall, content marketing well done, can be a really valuable tool for recruiting.
Especially when a lot of people feel like hiring is super important, and having content around not just hiring and not just your company brand, but something that recruiters can share, kind of ties back to the first question too, that we kind of talked about in employer branding.
And in that HubSpot content, like People Ops was a stakeholder in that output. Marketing owned the output, but People Ops certainly had a prominent voice in the development.
Yeah. Absolutely. And HubSpot is still very well known for their employer branding, and so you guys definitely hit the nail on the head there.
Yeah, they did a good job with it.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing all of this with everybody, and I hope you enjoyed the daily drive today.